Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Concho Sports Insider. I'm Arlen Ponder, and tonight with me is Art Andretti and Paul Whitwig from
San Angelo Standard Times.
San Angelo Standard Times. So, my throat is trash tonight, so Paul, I'm going to let you take the reins here.
We'll make up for it, Arlen. Trust me, we got your back.
Thank you, appreciate it.
If you wouldn't mind leading us off though on the first game.
All right, let's go with Wall Kahoma. Should be a really good game, judging from Kahoma and Wall how they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, Wall's obviously undefeated right now, and Kahoma just has the one loss to Littlefield, who is, I believe, undefeated after, I think they beat Slayton last week, but that's all the way up there in the Lubbock area. We don't got to worry too much about them. But, yeah, I mean, it should be a really good game. Wall's obviously on a roll. They really thrashed Merkel at home in their district opener, and I think Landon York, I want to say, had 7 touchdowns passing and 380 yards. So I think they really wanted to start off district on the right foot after kind of that tight game to Idalou, which I don't think that they wanted it to be that close. They had a couple of mistakes early that kept Idalou in the game, and I think that they really want to, like I said, start district off on the right foot, and they obviously did that. So I'm expecting another pretty strong performance from Wall, but I really like that Kahoma defense. I think they're really good, and again they've had a couple of really big wins, beating Wink and then beating Albany, and again they lost that game to Littlefield, but it was really close, and the defense has played really well for Kahoma this year. Right now they're on their backup quarterback, Austin Jocelyn, who is actually the son of Chris Jocelyn,
the head coach.
The head coach, yeah, and typically their starter, he's Boyd Cox, and he's kind of been their starter since he was a freshman, and he's a senior now, and he's their school history leading passer in every single category. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of missing that super explosive offense that we've seen from them in the past couple of years. Like last year, that game against Littlefield in Kahoma, it was 71-70. Huh. So they've been able to put up 70 points in the past, and I think this year they've kind of shifted a bit to being more of a defensive run team, but I still think they're really efficient. I think Austin is really takes care of the football. He only has a couple of turnovers, and so they're an efficient offense. I don't want to say that they're super explosive at this point like they have been in the past, but they could get some explosive plays here and there as well, and they're really missing kind of that super strong running game that they had last year as well. They had their running back whose name is escaping me. I think he had about 2,500 yards on the ground, and he was Jaden Vineyard. He was their middle linebacker as well. So they're kind of missing him a little bit this year in the ground game. But like I said, still really efficient offense and a really, really strong defense.
Yeah, and Wall, I think you were right about that Idalou game. They came out flat. I called that game with Russ, and they came out super, super flat. And that halftime, there was a play where number 2, is it Rudolph? Is that it?
Two is Reed. Ooh, Hagen Barbie. Is he number 2?
No. It was I can't remember who it was, but he came out. They stopped him on D.
Yeah.
Then that very next, they punted to him, and he ran right into somebody and nailed him. Yeah. And I told Russ, I said, that's a statement right there. And from then on, it
turned around.
All Wall.
Yeah.
And Paul, I want to apologize. I mispronounced your name again.
It's all good.
It's Whitworth. I know that, but
we can just roll with it.
I mixed your name up with one of my friends in New Mexico. So hey. Anyways, hey, at least it's at least I called you.
Right. It was a real name.
Yeah. Don't call you late for lunch, kind of thing. But hey, Art. So what do you think about that Wall Kahoma?
I think Wall's really, really strong. I'd like to maybe see Kahoma hang with them a little bit. Maybe like a 42-21 game, possibly. I just don't think Kahoma probably has the firepower to hang with Wall all the way, unless Wall just makes mistakes and plays, flat, or, that's the only way anybody's going to play with Wall right now until the state semifinals, probably. or someone that gets hot in the playoffs,
Right.
But Wall is in the top 100 on max preps, and Tacoma's like 541. That's a huge gap. So,
Right.
I mean, it would be a miracle if Tacoma can pull it out. But again, maybe they can just hang in there for a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
And
Yeah.
make it somewhat of a game.
Yeah, the blueprint for Kahoma is I'm sure they're just watching that Idalou tape. What did they see?
Mm-hmm.
Copy that, do that. Because if I'm right, Idalou scored first, didn't they?
Wow.
It should have been 21-7
Wow.
at the half.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Wall, luckily, I think it was a fumble that
Yeah.
they got and took it back down and scored.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been 21-7.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Wall got that ball back, and it's Reed Robertson is who. I was
Reed
thinking.
Robertson. I thought he was one. Yeah.
Number one. He's number one, and I thought it was number two. So,
Yeah.
what do I know? I'm on cold meds.
Well, that's a good test for Wall, then. At least
Yeah.
they were able to not play well first half and come back and hang in there, and then
I think it's a really good
until they start rolling, like they will.
Yeah, and that was something that was awesome to see. Was I think they went on a 28-point run.
Yeah.
And just shut them down. They couldn't do anything after that. And from what I was told, there was some serious some serious
Butt chewing
discussions
at the
going
halftime?
on in the locker room.
Okay.
They could hear them through several doorways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Good kudos to Coach Slaughter.
Yeah.
He knew what he had to say to push those kids to get them to go.
Yeah.
And they came out and they shut it down. This week against Kahoma, I can't remember if you said it or not, but this should be the battle for the district title.
Yeah, this will likely decide the district winner with Kahoma, eking out that win against Grape Creek last week. I think, again, Merkel could kind of come in there and disrupt some things, but, with what we saw with Wall kind of really bringing it to Merkel last week, I think Wall's kind of obviously established themselves as the district favorites, from the start of the season and obviously continuing through district now. So, but it'll be really interesting to see where Kahoma, Grape Creek, and Merkel kind of fall in that 2, 3, 4. And I think this year Stanton's a little bit on the downside, unfortunately. So they're probably not going to be in the district race, but we'll see. Again, they play Grape Creek this week. This is their first district game. They had the open week last week, so you never know with district. I mean, there's crazier things have happened.
Well, while we're talking about that, let's just jump right into them. Stanton, Grape Creek.
Yeah.
Stanton coming in, they are 1-5. And Grape Creek's coming in. What are they? 4-3.
4-3.
So I think this is going to be a good game. I like that Grape Creek. That they're running the wing tee, right?
Yep. Yeah. They run that wing tee. They do a little bit more passing, probably than again you would.
I found the wing tee. We used to run that in Lockhart back in '94
Right.
to 2000.
Push your dentures up in there as you say that. Yeah.
My teeth still.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a good game. Not a good game. I think Grape Creek can set a tone early on, and that away, Coach Teal's got them playing, and I think they're ready to go.
Yeah, and I think I've heard a lot of fans from Grape Creek really felt like they should have had that one last week in Kahoma, and last year that was sort of the upset game in the district was Grape Creek beating Kahoma.
Yeah.
And, they feel like they should have had that one again, and unfortunately just kind of got away from them. But they've got the second leading rusher in the area, Darrell West. I think he's just been absolutely spectacular for them. He's over 1,000 yards already rushing this year. The only, he's won, I believe, 3 rushers. It's Christian Villarreal, Darrell West, and I'm blanking right now, from Lakeview. Why can I not remember his name? But
The receiver or pass or
running
Avisa?
Back.
I'll come to
We're
me in a
all
second.
blanking right now.
Yeah, we're all-
Rios.
Isaiah Rios.
yeah.
Goodness.
Isaiah,
They're the
yeah.
only 3,000-yard rushers we got right now in the Concho Valley and greater West Texas area. So, I think that's going to be a nice get-back game for Grape Creek, and they're really going to want to establish themselves. They might try to throw the ball a little bit more, get their passing game in check before they play Merkel. Well, I think they're going to kind of battle for that either 2 or 3 spot, depending on what Kahoma does. So, I think Grape Creek's really rolling right now. They've had a couple of, again, the loss to Como was tough, and then they had a loss earlier to Bang. So I think a lot of people thought was going to be worse than they are. They really put a beating on Ballinger last week. I think it was 48-0. Sure. So, yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere, that Bangs team. So I think that loss looks a little less worse than it did earlier in the season.
Right.
Now that you kind of see who Bangs has played, and again, Banks is likely going to finish. They might finish third in that district with Hamilton and De Leon and Coleman. So, and that's a really tough district. So
I'm a Great Creek fan right now. I mean, they've had a great year. Even if they don't win another game, I think it's been a good year for them. I'm hoping they win at least 2 more games and at least have a playoff game, which I think they will.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of rooting for them to get their first playoff win in program history this year. Last year, they had that game against Crane. It was really close through the half, and then Crane kind of just ran away with it. But they're fighting that 1 versus 4 last year. If they can get that 2-3 matchup, then I think because then I think they can really make that statement, get to that second round for the first time in program history, and I think there's a lot to be proud of in Grape Creek right now.
Oh, completely, and they, like you said, they are. I think they're the team to beat out of that district, other than Wall.
Right.
Other than Wall, I think Wall has just got it sunk in, but.
Wall should have eyes for grander things, like I said, they won a state title, anything less of a semifinal win, I think they will probably think it's probably not a great season. I mean, which is not bad to say, but their eyes are set on that prize and on that climbing that mountain and winning.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Grape Creek. I think, we definitely said that they're going to be a monster, and they're playing in Grape Creek, so you've got that home field advantage.
Hey, that might be a good one to go see. So we got nothing to do Friday.
You ain't got anything to do, go see it.
Central's away, Central's away Friday.
Yeah, Central's away also. But game to go see is your game of the week.
Oh, yes, Ozona at Sonora. I mean, right now, again, if you're a subscriber to Dave Campbell's Texas Football, you saw the story on him on Ozona's running back Christian Villarreal and how he's on pace to break the state record.
That'd be cool.
West Texas,
the
Ozona.
State record.
Things like that. Not those records, the state record for rushing. He would have to get it by probably the second week of the playoffs, which is, again, it's a tall task in Region 1. 2A. Class 2A is extremely good in Region 1 with Panhandle, Post. There's
Post number 3?
Panhandle's 2. I think Post actually just dropped out of the rankings. Yeah. They were 8th last week, and I think they dropped out. I can't remember if they won or lost. But, again, they've been in the top 10 rankings basically all season.
Yeah, all season
I'm curious, how many carries does he have so far?
I believe he has...
Oh, hold on. I got them right here.
Okay.
So y'all keep talking, and I'll pull it up.
That'd be something to throw out.
115 carries,
in 6 games,
2,068 yards,
my God.
29 touchdowns. That's just on the ground.
But 115 doesn't even sound like a lot. I mean, I know it is.
Yeah, it's the most of anybody, but Isaiah Rios has 104. He's got about 1,000 yards right now.
And you would think that there's probably somebody around in the United States that's probably rushing 25 times a game.
Sure.
30, maybe approach 30 every now and then.
Yeah.
Christian's 344.7 yards per game. Per game.
Yeah.
And how many?
He's got to stay around 340, 360 to get to that record.
Do they have any other people that run the ball now and then?
They've got they've got Michael Preddy. He's 54 yards a game.
That's not bad.
Their senior.
Yeah.
And then Jay Borrego, 49 yards a game. He's their other running back.
So that's like a 300 monster. Well, I mean, it's not really a monster, but still.
Yeah.
49 and 50, still 100 yards a game.
It's still, almost 300 yards less than what he's running.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, he'll throw the ball sometimes. He's got a touchdown pass this year, the game I was at, where that I saw of him was down in Brady. He threw a touchdown pass on their first possession, a little pop pass, and he's their punter too. They don't really punt a whole lot,
right?
But I think they've punted 5 times this year. But he's got an average of 54 yards per punt. I mean, that's a leg. In high school football, that's a leg.
How fast is he? Is he pretty quick, pretty fast?
He's a long jumper.
Okay, I was heading toward track. What kind of speed does he have?
I'm not sure of his long speed exactly.
He's more of a lumber.
Yeah,
he more lumbers because he's a big kid. Okay. He's not a skinny kid.
He gets from 0 to 60. Yeah. Quick, and that's where that high jump
long jump. Exactly. You got to have an explosion.
Yeah.
And being in that speed.
Yeah.
To help you in the long jump.
Yeah, and again, like 2A football, 2A track in Region 1 is really. I mean, there's just so many kids who go to state from Region 1, and it's so competitive every year. I mean, and he went to area and almost made Region last year. So, I was up at that area meet, and I got a picture of him, and I was like, wait, you do long jump? You're probably 20, 30 pounds bigger than the rest of these kids. Wow. So, and he's an extremely explosive athlete and really great kid, really humble kid, always talks about his offensive line first. And, that's exactly what you want to see out of your running back. And, especially, guys who are carrying it like that. So, on Sonora's side, they've got quarterback Aaron Segura, who is one of the top leading passers. I believe he's 3rd right now. He's got about 1,400 yards. That's kind of they're pretty balanced right now. Last year, I think they were more really pass based. They had a bunch of really great wide receivers, but sort of couldn't run the ball as well. This year, they're running the ball a lot better. With his name's escaping me too. He's got about 500 something yards on the season. Asa Gomez, he's got about 500 yards on the season as well. So, he's been really good this year for them on the ground. They've got a really balanced attack, about 1,500 yards passing, a little over 1,200 yards running, and it's kind of a balanced attack for them. So I think it's a really good game, and I think their defense plays really well as well.
Are these the top 2 teams in that district?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, Zona's undefeated, and Sonora has 1 loss.
Ever since I can remember, it seems like Sonora and Ozona have been winning teams,
right?
In whatever district they're in, and always seem to do well. So I was just, wanted to reassure myself that it was still the same case.
Yeah, I think Sonora most recently, I think they're the most recent state champion out of this area in 2A. They won a state championship in 2000, I believe.
Okay. I think that's right. Yeah.
That was 2000. Right. And if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. I know Goldthwaite's had a couple of state championships. I don't know if they've had any as early as 2000, but not that I can remember. Oh, Mason.
And we're joined by Darren Prater. Darren,
your partner.
My partner in crime. So,
thank y'all. Glad to be here, man.
Glad you're here. So Goldthwaite, you know state champs. You're like a savant whenever
Coach
you come
Gary
to that stuff. So how do we? Who's won most recently, Sonora or?
Well, I'm thinking Albany and Hawley, but I guess y'all consider that our area.
That's Abilene area?
That's the Abilene.
That's still Region 1, though.
Mason won in, I believe, 2011.
Okay.
2012.
I remember that team. I remember.
Yeah. So I think that's the most recent from like kind of our little area.
Goldthwaite used to win in the 90s all the time.
Right.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
They beat Wall one year on the way to do it when Wall was 2A.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The 98 season, they had one state. They didn't win in 98, but I did play-by-play for Goldthwaite. And my co-host was Craig Aldridge, who was quarterback for them when they went to state one year.
Oh.
And he got excited during one of the games at Goldthwaite Eagle Field and stood up and went, yeah! Bam! And punched the window out of the press box. Glass went flying everywhere. I've still got a tape of it.
Oh, wow.
Bill Hart mentioned us in the Abilene Reporter News after that.
I remember him, too.
Yeah, he was great.
Hey, and let's go ahead and stay in that District 3 2A, and let's talk about Reagan County Christoval next. They're playing this week. You're looking at that District 3 2A. You've got Christoval, Sonora, Ozona, Colorado City, Forsan, and Reagan County. Tell me a weak team in that district other than Colorado City.
Just from history, I want to say Reagan County was usually up there with Sonora and Ozona, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cristobal moved up, right? Because Cristobal used to be 1A, 2A.
Yeah, hard to believe.
8-man or 6-man.
They were 6-man
maybe at one time.
1A, 1A. Now they're 2A. They're just gradually crawling up.
Sure. Okay.
And I can't wait to do the realignment show because there's so much going to happen, so much going on. You're hearing so many rumors, but we get ahead of ourselves. Cristobal, Reagan County. Cristobal coming in, they're 3-3. Mm-hmm. They're 1-0 in district. Reagan County, I don't even have their record, to be honest.
They're 2-4, and they just lost the tough game, unfortunately, 94-16 to Ozona last week. And like I said, Ozona's putting it to people this year. So that's sometimes you're just going to kind of be,
It might be down a little bit compared to some of their years.
Yeah, last year, they had, both of Coach Brown's sons, Kaysen and Jarrett Brown, and Kaysen's obviously playing D1 football now at Arizona. So
wow.
Pretty outstanding athlete, especially in basketball. And then Jarrett was just an awesome weapon for them as well. As kind of played some quarterback for them last season when Kaysen had a little bit of a shoulder injury, but prior to that, he's sort of that athlete role for them where he would kind of play wide receiver, running back. But this year, it's a new cast without either the Brown boys there, and they've had some really good performances and they've had some tough ones. And I think with the team kind of at that age, and there are a lot of juniors on that team. That's just going to happen sometimes. And with the turnover they've had, it's tough to year in and year out be on top of the district. And I think they definitely got a shot to make the playoffs this year with how open. Again, I think Reagan County, Cristobal, Forest and Colorado City, those were kind of going to be tight there. I really think Ozona and Sonora have kind of separated themselves a little bit from them. But again, that's still 2 spots between 4 teams, so it's going to be highly competitive.
I think Cristobal will come out with one of these.
Yeah.
And I think that will be in the top 4. You're looking at Colorado City 0-6, Forsan 1-5. And like you said, Reagan County being 2-4. This week against Cristobal, I think this will be a deciding game on who stays
alive for the playoffs, maybe
alive for that playoff
4th spot or something,
or that
third
third
or 4th
spot. I think.
3rd spot,
Oh, yeah, 3 teams go, right? Or
4.
4 teams go, yeah.
But that 3rd spot is going to be that coveted spot.
Yes, yeah. The 4th spot's always just a tough place to be, especially when you're
district champion.
Yeah, the district champion from the Hawley Stanford district. You just don't want to be playing the district champ from, because last year it was Sonora, and I talked to Coach Blake Weston after that game. He's like, I don't think anybody was beating Stanford last year, and they weren't. Stanford went to the state championship, and so nobody was beating Stanford last year. So again, it's a really tough district to go up against in your by-district round. So I think both these teams are going to be up and ready. I think Cristobal's obviously got the advantage of being home and coming off a win, but Reagan County will be looking for a bounce back game and a payback game.
Yeah, they're gonna. I think this. Like I said, I think this is going to be a really good game. Cristobal at home, I think you said that, but got a little bit of that home field advantage there at, what's the name of that stadium there?
In Cristobal? Jack Pardee Stadium, former Houston Oilers coach.
I knew he'd sing that song.
Only way I know that, when I was 18, I worked at a radio station, K-Cub in Stephenville.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Pardee and the Houston Oilers are on K-Cub. So that's how I knew that.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I vaguely remember Jack Pardee growing up, being a little kid. And
he was a defensive coordinator, right?
I think
so. I think he was defense. Yeah.
In Cristobal, they've liked those defensive guys. I mean, their head coach right now, Tanner McLean, he's defensive coordinator at Comanche, and then obviously before him. So they are a defensive mindset team down there in Cristobal. I mean, I think that's kind of their strong suit this year as well as defense.
I think so. I'll agree. You got anything to add on that Cristobal Reagan County one?
No, except we had a lot of fun out at Cristobal the times we've been out there. It's been a great time.
Always
El Dorado, too.
Love that field. Love that field. I love the view down, because it's kind of on a hill a little bit. You get that nice view down to the rest of the Concho Valley. It's a really pretty stadium.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's pretty. The fans are incredible.
Yep.
Even doing basketball out there. Russ and I have done basketball out there, and the fans are very welcoming, very understanding. Even when we're calling and they're losing, they're understanding. But what I'm trying to say is incredible people out there, great people to be around. Support Concho Sports Network incredibly. Want us back out there. And want us to come and cover games, and maybe next year we can swing it. You never know.
I definitely see it.
We can work. I'm working on it as best I can. Hey, you know what? Let's jump the other way. Let's go into Miles. I got Miles taking on the Buffaloes of Cross Plains. How's that? So taking on the purple and gold Buffaloes. So awesome. Miles kind of having a down year.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this a couple of times, is they've replaced all but one starter, their quarterback, this year. And so, they really had a strong senior class last year. And then the year before that, they had Haven Book, who was a really awesome kind of dual threat quarterback for them. They won that really awesome game at San Angelo Stadium against Sterling City in that first round of the playoffs. Those teams kind of have a rivalry, but I think this is a good opportunity for Miles to get a win. I think they're coming off, again, you got to start off district with Albany. It's just always tough, and you just don't want to do that. And they've had to do that the past 2 years. Actually, I think it's been the past 4 years they've had to start off district with Albany. So, but I think they have a good opportunity to bounce back against Cross Plains. Cross Plains is kind of one of those teams that's on the border of being a 6-man team and an 11-man team. So sometimes they struggle with injuries, and then if they lose 1-2 guys, that's really big for them. So, but I think Miles, they're kind of experimenting with some stuff this year, and I like their wide receiver Caden Carmody, and they're obviously the quarterback Liam Yancey. I really like those guys, and their running back Ryder State Pahoodle, I believe. I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's how it looks, at least.
Hey, if we're saying it wrong, let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. Sorry about if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but yeah, I kind of like the young talent that they've got there, and I think they'll just kind of continue to grow this year.
You mentioned Sterling City. Have y'all talked about them at all?
Not yet.
Okay. When you do,
they're on the rise
on
here.
The docket.
But I think Miles, like you said, Cross Plains. My cousin went to Cross Plains.
So did mine, 2 or 3 of them.
See,
there you go.
Yeah, we're related some way. Who knows? It's that Dublin, Stephenville, Brownwood connection there.
Yep.
But you're right. Cross Plains, they got it bad too, because they have to play Hamlin and Albany and
it's a tough district.
Roscoe.
Yeah.
All of those are tough teams. Yeah, we always say tough teams. We always talk about how hard it is to play. West Texas different football than Metroplex football.
Yeah.
Than Syntax football, things like that. So you've got a lot of great schools out here, and if you're a football junkie, this is the area to live in. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, especially if you love small school football. This is the best place in Texas.
Yeah.
It's kind of in this like lower Lubbock, Abilene, West Texas area. This is the best place for small school football, and I think it's going to be a great game between Miles and Cross Plains. I'm really excited to see how Miles plays, because really have enjoyed my time going out there, talking to Coach Jason Wilhelm and covering those teams, and really definitely rooting for those guys to have a successful season.
Man. And also going to give a shout out to Coach Jeff Corinne, who is out there now.
Yeah.
Coach Corinne and I worked together at Carver. He and I did some AFL games together.
Oh, yeah.
So he and I have done some games together, and great guy. I don't know why Miles hired him. No, not really. Just messing with you, Coach. But his other down flaw is he's a Jets fan, So
there's not many Jets fans.
at least he holds it true.
At least not here in Texas.
First game I ever did for Concho Sports, before the UIL allowed you to live stream a game, you had to tape it. And then, like later on, watch it. So I'd get up on Saturday and watch the game I hadn't seen yet. The first one I ever did was Miles versus Cross Plains and Miles.
Love it.
A lot of fun.
Wow.
Had a coach right next to us, so it's 2nd down and 3. Counter! That's what you heard all night. He would say it before I could.
That's awesome. Well, you know what you asked? Let's go. Let's go to El Dorado and Sterling City. What you got?
Are there any Covarrubias kids playing for El Dorado?
Covarrubias, yeah.
Corbin and Kevin
I remember
Covarrubias.
both of them were good.
Yeah, both
Very
of them.
First game I did, I got to say Covarrubias over and over.
Over and over.
Yeah.
There was somebody that played for one of the teams Central played that was Covarrubias, only it was Covarrubias.
We had in
instead of
Central Texas.
Covarrubias.
In Central Texas, we had someone had a Covarrubias.
It was
I remember
Covarrubias,
that.
and the other one, the B came first, Covarrubias instead of Covarrubias.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, that was cool. A lot of fun. Were you talking about Sterling City?
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
Jump on there.
Kellen Luker, the head coach.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube and watch
14-8.
Stephenville Yellow Jackets 1998 when he was the quarterback and they won state.
I remember. Yeah, I remember him.
And the only loss was to Brownwood that year.
I was at both of those
Top
games.
5 battle. You ever heard of a band called Submersed, rock band from back in the day? They toured with Creed. They opened for Creed.
I heard of Creed.
Creed helped them. Luker was the bass player. He went from SMU to Rockstar to Tarleton to coaching.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
great quarterback. And it'd be cool to talk to him. I'd like to hear about that experience.
Yeah,
Sure.
and we've talked about, Paul and I have talked about getting coaches in here, getting players in here, and if nothing else, getting an interview with them to talk to
Yeah.
them.
Find out what's going on.
And
yeah.
find out what's going on. That's our hope further down the line. Maybe we can make it happen.
Yeah, pick his
little
brain
bit.
a little bit. It would be like, like Darren said, it'd be really interesting to talk to him about, his journey from Stephenville through all of that and then to Tarleton. And I think he was 28 when he went to or 30 when he went to Tarleton, right? And he was the quarterback there at Tarleton. And and I mean, after that, he kind of went into coaching, and I talked to him a little bit before the season, and he's just like, man, I just love coaching small town football.
Oh,
Well, we have lots of Concho Valley legends,
Yeah.
in our area.
He played for Bryles, too.
Like,
he played for our.
like Coach Slaughter, he played at Ballinger when Ballinger was very good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, got on with Clovis Hill at Lakeview and then became Lakeview's head coach. So you have a lot of people in this area like that. They have stories like that.
And you talking about Lakeview, who's off this week? That's why we're not talking about him.
Right.
Lakeview, Tony Cortez.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sweetwater.
He used to coach at Dublin.
Dublin, Comanche, went to Howard Payne, went to Tarleton, graduated from Tarleton.
Yep.
All of these, like you said, a lot of great coaching stories.
One day we sat down together. We were doing the TOS test or whatever it's called anymore. I don't remember what the name of it is. He was stationed in my room, and I was giving the test. And you usually put 2 teachers in every room, where you're doing those state mandated tests. And we just sat down. Of course, it's quiet in the room. Who knows how many kids we had, 10, 15, 20. We talked football for about 2-3 hours, when he first got to Lakeview.
That's awesome. And his kids are actually going
to Howard Payne.
To Howard Payne, yeah. So I went there, and worst year of my life. Anyway.
Well, Ian's going to be a doctor, isn't he?
Yeah, Ian's going to be a doctor. So
He's awesome.
Those incredible kids, and like we said, incredible. It'd be great to talk to Cullen. It'd be great to talk to Coach Cortez and get him in here and talk to him and see. I mean, we talk. You get to talk to Coach Guevara all the time. You talk to every coach. We talk to Coach Smith on Monday night. So let's lead into what would be our
Coach
game of the
Guevara
week.
doesn't talk that much.
What's that?
He's a man of few words.
He's in a few words, but
Yeah.
he's
He's a different, stoic
Yes.
individual.
Completely.
Jack Welch was not. Jack Welch at Copper's Cove. If you come and see him, boy, he would go 100 miles an hour, just like most coaches that have been around for a long time and tell you stories about everywhere he's been and all over America. But that's not Coach Guevara. He's more
Different.
low key.
He was a tough. Whenever Darren and I used to do all the games at San Angelo Stadium, and we would have to interview him, and he was a tough interview post game.
Sure.
And it wasn't because he was just being rude or anything.
Right.
That's
It's
just the way
his
he
style.
is. That's his style.
He's not a word salad.
No. Very direct. And,
We're baling the hay. We cut the wood. We chopped it. It's in the barn. We're going to be, picking the cotton.
Yeah.
My boss at Lockhart was Dan Hurley. He used to be up in the Panhandle somewhere when he first started and made his mark there. Then he went down to Lockhart. He was a little like LeVar. I mean, but he was more open. I mean, he'd talk to you a little more than.
Brent Davis was like that at Central. He said, "I'm not really a real speech guy. They'll forget whatever I said by the time they're on the field anyway."
yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Mark Smith's a little more fiery in the speech department.
He's a good talker. He's a good vocalist.
He's a good interview. And if you're a coach, I got a ton of respect for you simply because of all the time that you have to put in.
Sure.
But also and Coach Smith and I talk regularly about molding not just boys, but men, creating men here. And that's what a lot of these coaches are doing, is they're creating men that can go on and then be the Cullen Lucers.
Both Welches at Copper's Cove were that way. They were good talkers and, told great stories and lessons for those guys that needed it,
Well, talking about coaches, Coach Wood, I played for him up until like my 8th grade year, and then I blew out my knee, and he came to me and said, "You're a better saxophone player than you are a football player." So I quit. However, we were at a state convention one time. I was with my ex-wife, and Coach was there. And Coach said,
never forget.
"Arlen, can you tell me how to get to here?" And this was before cell phones and all this. And I went, "Yeah, Coach, come on, I'll take you." And I took him to where he had to go. And my ex-wife finally caught back up to me, and she was like, "Where'd you go?" And I went, "Coach asked me to take him somewhere." That was the amount of respect I had for him growing up as a kid. And that's what I'm talking about. These guys influence you. Influence you for the rest of your life. I'm sure there's sometimes that my kids in school probably won't go, "Is that what coach is that coming out of him?" But speaking of coaches, let's talk about Coach Smith. Coming up with the Central Permian game. Permian coming in 5-1, Central 3-3, 0-1. Had that heartbreak last week. Lost by 9 points. That kicker by 16. Yeah,
it was 9 right till
so it was 9.
He was impressive, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he didn't really look like a kicker, did he?
No, he didn't look.
He looked like a defensive lineman.
Very stoggy.
I was thinking George Blanda. So, what was your take on it, Paul?
Yeah, I think, Permian right now, they're kind of, with legacy, they're kind of the favorites to win the district at this point. And I think Permian's had a really impressive season. They've got a lot of really impressive wins, and they're going to run the football. And, if you want to, be with those teams like a Legacy and like a Permian, you got to be able to defend against the run. And I think, that's the next step for this football team to take, is to limit the explosive plays. If they can, because that was kind of the killer for them last week, was 3rd down and explosives. If they, that first drive, they stop, they get them to a 3rd and long, and then give up a long pass play. And it's, if they could just limit those to 1 to 2 a game rather than 5 to 10 like it was last week, I think you can. Your offense is good enough to put up 40 points against Midland Legacy. They should be able to put up 20 points a game at this point. That's how good this offense is. I truly believe that, especially when they're running the ball well. And I think they kind of, unfortunately, had to get away from it more than I'm sure Coach Smith wanted to last week.
414 yards passing from Micah Smith.
Yeah.
Compared to, I think it was 173 rushing.
Yeah.
It was, and it definitely lopsided football. If you talk to Coach Smith and if you follow the Bobcats, he wants that even break. He wants that match. He wants the bully ball more than he does pass the ball.
Yeah. His ideal, way to play is to get a 14-point lead and just slowly, methodically move down the field and keep scoring. And again, when you get down behind early, they just don't have too much opportunity to do that. And they had a couple of mistakes as well that gave legacy.
A lot of penalties in that game.
A lot of penalties.
Both sides.
A lot of penalties.
A returned kickoff or touchdown.
So again, it's just, if they can limit those explosive against Permian, I think this will be a much closer game. But at this point, with the way that Permian's playing, it'll be a really tough ask.
Yeah,
Permian's really good.
Yeah, people are like, well, they ain't what they used to be, comparing to the state.
I think
they're not
good.
in the top 10 this year. But let me tell you something. Year in and year out, they come in with a 1 loss, 2 losses. If they don't have any losses, they'll lose to Midland League.
Right.
That always goes that way. Whoever's the best team on paper loses.
Kudos to Midland League. Coming in 1-4 and playing like they played.
Murderers.
I mean, they must have played semi-pro teams.
Basically.
They played Euless Trinity. They played Lake Travis, Allen.
All those are state championship contenders.
Yeah, Ruston, Louisiana, number 3 team in the state.
Exactly. And they got good football there.
Yeah.
And Stephenville, 4A Stephenville showed Ruston, you may beat some 6A teams, but you're not going to beat the Jacket Mystique.
I think that's the craziest game this season in the state.
I wonder if the Ruston team, though, played the same people.
They did.
They did.
Yeah, because they had a running back that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they played out there in Longview, and I mean both teams had to travel for that.
Okay.
And they had 67 on Stephenville last year, so they were mad anyway.
Yeah.
They were like, we're going to get you.
Stephenville's they were a good team last year. They're a much improved team this year.
So they got that mystique about them,
They have that sign that says the Jacket Mystique, and every time I see it, I'm like, who cares? And then next thing you know, they're ahead.
And it's true.
It's usually when they
like Brownwood would have it,
Brownwood
Stephen have it.
do it to us again.
Yeah.
It's real.
Abilene
has
it.
Still has it.
And
Permian.
that's one thing that Permian and Central, they have the common opponent is Abilene.
Yeah.
And Abilene made us look bad, and I think Permian made Abilene look bad. So
they can beat a top 10.
In
5A.
In 5, yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to tell you, never count out Mark Smith's teams.
No.
Never count out those teams.
They'll keep fighting.
I agree.
It's quite a history we have with them. It goes way, way back. If you look on YouTube, I just have this personal dream that we get to be the first people on YouTube to say, we did it. We beat Odessa Permian. Finally, we're beating them again. I'd love to say that. Nobody else has. There's not one game. Going back to the 80s, there's 2 Central Permian games.
I was there. I was in Odessa when Central beat Permian.
Yeah.
The No More Mojo chant grew up. And, of course, Permian had a good team. It was the 98 punt yard or whatever it was, 92-yard punt against – no, I guess it was with the wind. That punter who was their quarterback for Central at that time pumped 92 yards. He was deep in his end zone, and the ball went all the way down to like the 1-yard line or 3-yard line. The wind blew it, and the guy let it bounce at the 50.
Wow.
And then took a big bounce.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden he got out of the way, and Central just followed that ball from the 30 down to inside the 10.
Wow.
In that window.
And then Central held them, got the ball back, and I don't know if they kicked the field goal or something to win it, or if they won it because of the punt.
Of all the games on YouTube, there's a couple from the 90s with Shea Moran's, who ended up on the cover of Sports Illustrated, played for the Longhorns, played for the Yankees. He couldn't beat them.
That was 88. That was 88 when it happened.
Yeah.
88.
And then
because at my church, we went, our church group said, well, let's go to the Central Permian game.
big crowd.
And because I went to church, and a lot of kids were from Central, so we said, let's go watch Central,
Yeah.
And,
driving to score and lost the ball right at the end. So there's not one broadcast of Central beating Permian as many times as we have beat them. We haven't beaten them since 2017. So backtrack that to 2015. They are number 6 in the state. They are back to being Odessa Permian, officially, on paper, receipts and everything, undefeated. Central had lost to Abilene, and quarterback Brennan Wooten. They had a huge game here in 2015, number 6 in the state against Central, and it sold out. People were camping out for it, old school Friday Night Light stuff. And they'd scored something like 50 points on most of their opponents. And the Central led them the entire game and ended up beating them 27-20 that night. Yeah. And that was huge. Beat a top 10 Permian team. That was 15. 2016, the dream team that really should have gone to state if not for an injured quarterback against Allen in a driving rainstorm. They beat Permian pretty easily. The next year, that was a 10-0 regular season. So 9-1, 10-0, another 10-0 regular season. Maverick McIver, who is now the quarterback for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, they beat Permian pretty handily. It wasn't ever really in doubt. Then we didn't play them for 2 years.
Yeah.
That district with Euless Trinity and Haltom City and all that.
Yeah.
It was
Bizarre
gone.
district.
No more Permian, no more. It just took all the fun out of West Texas football.
Yeah.
Then we convened, and I'll tell you what happened. There was a voodoo spell. I think the people in Odessa are dealing with voodoo, because here's what happened. Finally get to play them again. I think Malachi Brown set some passing records for Central in that game. We handled them. We got them. No problem. All of a sudden they score, and then they block a field goal. And then they score again and tie it at halftime. And there were no fans there. It was COVID. No fans, no cheerleaders. There was hardly anybody there. It was eerie, like silent. And then we couldn't stop them the second half. And all of a sudden, they beat us. And then the next week, we lost a lead for the first time in years. And then we lost a playoff game. Hasn't been the same since. Since that night, that eerie night, when they beat us, hasn't been the same. We haven't beaten either one of those two teams since then. So will tomorrow night be the night? It could be.
It could be. It could be. Anything can happen in football in this, especially this little Southwest Conference. I think last year they were really close last year when Squeaky made that incredible run to get them down and just Coach Smith was telling me, he's like, I just think his legs were tired. He's like, I should have taken a timeout and letting him rest to get his legs, and he just kind of he saw Jimmy Edwards in the corner of the end zone. He's open, and just kind of sails it a little bit because it was a little too open almost, and I think that game, the Midland League game, and then that game, I just think were really unfortunate for Central last year, because I think if they could squeak out either one of those games, it's a lot different district race last season than it turned out being. And I think this year's kind of the same thing. Tough to take that loss to Lee. I think Lee was just ready to win. At this point, they're just ready to win a game, and they came out and they were like, we're here, we're Midland Lee, we're taking our stamp on this district. And I think Central now, they kind of feel that 6A competition again after playing Belton and Waco High. And I think this will be a lot closer game than some people are thinking. But again, it's just, at this point in time, it's hard to bet against Permian the way that they're playing.
And they expect to beat us, and so do most people. But 5 district championships in a row for Central. 2018, I think, was 2017. Was the last one.
Yep.
No playoff wins since then. But we expected to beat them back then. Even on that night when no one was there, I'm like, we'll get them. I wasn't even worried about it. And maybe Permian and Midland Lee feel that way about us. Like, well, they're tough, but not that concerned. It'll be tough, but we'll win. And I was going to say, last year, Squeaky got sacked sandwiched between 2 defensive players and looked hurt. He gets up the next play, runs a touchdown, didn't get that 2-point conversion, didn't get the onside kick. But still, there was a chance, and Permian threw to the tight end, I think. They always do what they need to do against us. 2 years before, we had them. We had a lead at halftime. One of their kids in the second half goes up for a pass. His helmet flies off. He makes a one-handed grab. They always do that against us when they have to. So maybe tomorrow night will be different. Maybe they'll make some mistakes and we won't make any. And it'd be awesome to say we beat them. We may have a parade.
Coach Hartman, the Lee coach, came in and we call him Lee because on the side of their logo, their helmet, it says Lee now.
I've never stopped calling them Lee.
So they're Lee again.
Tyler Lee, all those Lees.
That's right. But
Legacy.
Coach Hartman said, coming to San Angelo Stadium, you feel like you're down 7-0 to start the game. I told Coach Smith, going into Ratliff Stadium with that black mystique there and the ambiance and all this, you almost feel like you're down 7-0, which is a good thing for Coach Smith's team.
Right.
Because the other night, whenever they were leaving, Darren and I were standing by the gate where the players come out, and Darren said, "Good game" to one of the players, and Darren, go ahead, pick it up.
Yeah, he walked by, he kind of had tears in his eyes. He's walking by. I said, "Hey, good game, man," and he's just like, Just kept walking, shake his head.
And
They just were there. They don't take losing casually,
No.
and that's good.
Yes. Yeah, that's what you want in a team ready to compete, is you want them to be upset when they lose. And you want them to be mad. And, that's how you build a winning culture, and I think Coach Smith is doing that.
I think he's got it. And I think what I was going to say before I was about to lose my voice, I think that's what's going to be good for them going in. They've got that taste, and we've all tasted, we've all played sports where you lose and you go, oh, I hate that taste. They've got that taste after that loss to Lee. Now they're going to go out there, they're going to want to slobber knock somebody.
Right.
I can guarantee you that defense is going to be ready to play.
I'm sure they took last week personal. I'm sure they did. And, again, it kind of felt like both teams at least in that first half, were a little, they were just feeling each other out a bit. Because, again, they were both on the open week. Central really hadn't played a 6A opponent. I mean, obviously you play Amarillo High and Abilene High, and they're as close as you can get in this area to a 6A squad. But, and then I think, Legacy, or Lee rather, was used to playing Allen, so they're like, well, where are we? And so I think they were kind of feeling each other out, and unfortunately Lee kind of won the battle of getting right first. But again, I saw a lot of promise from that Central team.
Oh yeah, Central played great. I thought they played awesome, and then Lee would come back with another awesome play, and then Central got an awesome play, and then just went back and forth.
Yeah,
well,
limit the explosives.
One thing that we talked about, and it caught us off guard a bunch of times, and it caught Wayne, our producer, off guard. They were quick on the ball.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that's new for them.
Yeah.
we would try to run a replay, and Darren's calling a replay, and I'm like, dude, that's the replay.
Yeah.
They're about to run because they're up, lined up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think, Coach Smith didn't say it, but you started to see that wear on that defense.
Oh yeah. No,
you couldn't sub those people in as quick as you could.
I saw it Saturday. I saw the Central game Saturday when I woke up, just because I was curious, and I could tell. I'm thinking, dang, this team is. Talk about the hours of practice they do doing that on offense.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Because they just, play there, boom, they're on the line.
Yeah.
Where they go? 2 seconds? Okay, then they start.
Yeah.
And Central's kind of looking around, or someone's trying to come in or something, it's like.
Here's the instant replay. Oh, that's the next play already.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that Midland was good at.
Yes.
And I don't know if they learned from those 4 losses they had against those awesome teams, what they got out of losing to those awesome teams.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew, hey, we're good too. We're just playing great teams.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, you could tell Central defense just wasn't ready. Their offense was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think that is sort of almost a flop of what you kind of were experiencing at the beginning of the season. Was the defense was playing great, and then the offense was kind of trying to pick itself up. So now if you can just have a game where where you're playing complementary football, and you're limiting those explosive plays, I think even if they lose in Permian this week, they got 3 more games that are easily winnable.
They got Midland and Odessa in there, and I don't see Midland or Odessa coming close to beating Central.
Yeah, they got Midland.
Friendship is going to be the toss-up.
Yep.
For third, 4th place.
Yep.
You beat, if you can get Midland, Odessa, that's a win. One more win than last season.
Yeah.
If we don't beat Permian.
Right.
Playoffs, maybe get you a good matchup for playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going against El Paso, right?
Yeah, you're coming out.
So the El Paso District champion Central will have a chance to win.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Although we've said that, we've gone out there. It's been.
There's been a couple really good
we lost to the Troopers.
True. No, El Paso can have a good team. Especially if they're the district champion.
Oh yeah.
And then Central's 4th.
And you got to figure that district out there. There's 14 teams in one district.
I think it's 10, ain't it?
Oh well,
It's 9.
It's
they
9.
have 1 non-district game.
Okay, not so that. Well, it's 10. Okay.
Yeah, 10. There's 9 teams.
9 teams
in a couple of those districts.
Because they got to play 9 district games.
But you saying that, I think Permian, if they aren't running a little scared or a little in the back of their minds going, dang, we better watch this
Sure,
team.
no,
They are
will.
going to be surprised.
Every year they know it's going to be tough.
Sure,
it's not pleasant.
it's history. The history, rivalries.
Yeah,
It's going to be a rivalry again.
remember this.
You
Probably a lot of kids on that Permian team, either dad,
Right.
mom might have been around back then,
Back in
or
88,
parents
when they
were
lost.
around with Coach Gaines, and 88, 89, state championship, state title appearance in the 90s. A lot of them were around for that. They know the history.
Oh yeah.
And Central has good history too.
And I don't think Permian made the playoffs that year. Central beat them in '88. They didn't make the playoffs. Remember, only 2 teams went. I think it was Midland Lee.
Yeah, back
It was Midland Lee and Central.
Well, the year that Midland Lee beat them in '88, the Friday Night Lights book was being written that year.
Yes.
One loss, and they had to go and flip it to the gas station.
I had a radio. I would, because I was still in San Angelo going to Angelo State. So I'd watch whatever, or I don't know if we can watch games at that time, if there was any high school games on TV.
I watched Permian and Aldine state championship on TV.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in the history.
regular
games.
Yeah.
Talking about regular games.
I remember listening to games. I remember listening to Lakeview, Central, or whatever I could get on the radio. And I remember they're talking about the coin toss. And that was broadcast on the radio. And I stayed up and listened. I don't know what time it was, 12 o'clock? Something like that. I don't
That
know.
was awesome to listen to.
And they came on and said, "Oh, we're doing the coin toss," and and it's like, because I was feeling the excitement of that moment and how somebody was going to be out. Because the movie was off. The movie had 4 teams doing. It was 3 teams, and it wasn't. San Angelo wasn't in there. It was me, Midland. Midland Lee. That's a Permian. Who's the 3rd team?
Was it? No, they played Abilene non-district that year.
It was.
It
It wasn't San Angelo Central. Central wasn't in top
Our
3.
logo was in that movie. At least it said Central and showed a bracket.
Right, Central, and I'm thinking that's wrong. Central was not in the top 3,
Yeah, they flew up to Marshall that year. The players got back on the planes before the fans got back and the parents. And they lost that game to Marshall. I think in the movie they won. And they lost to Abilene in the movie, but not in the book in real life.
Yeah.
They take some creative liberties.
Okay, so, but did Permian make it to the state title game that year?
No, they did not. It was in the movie. It was the state championship game. It was the game before that.
So they got in the state semifinals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was close. It was never out of hand.
Right.
The ball hit the turf.
And it wasn't in the Astrodome, was it?
No, it was in Texas.
That's what I thought. Yeah. But they played some from the Houston area.
They played the Carter Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah, they played the Carter Cowboys that year. And then they
because
went
they were always on WFAA, Channel 2.
Channel 8.
The Carter Cowboys won the team because they were the best team in that area at that time.
Yeah, and they were in hot tubs on their signing day, boy, and then they're on the news going, well, I hope they give us probation. And they didn't.
True.
Only team state champ in the state of Texas to ever forfeit their title.
Wow.
The only team ever.
I remember that.
Yeah, they had to wait on the judge to issue a decision to let them play right before the playoff games.
Yep.
They had to
And
wait.
that guy that does the Dave Campbell's Texas football,
Tepper?
when he was younger, no, he was younger back then. I mean, he's now in his 50s, 60s. What's his name? He must have been in his 30s when that, in '88, somewhere around there.
Craig Way.
Yes.
Craig Way.
Craig Way.
Craig Way.
I want to say he came on during their, because they had some kind of a show that came on Fox, that Fox Sports Net.
Yeah, I used to watch it.
And I'd watch it religiously, and of course they'd have, let's go to the Syntax area, let's go this, and I want to say they had that coin toss, something about the coin toss, and there too.
Yeah, it's on YouTube if you ever want to reminisce.
But I do remember. Oh, I want to say maybe it was Abilene High. I think they went 9-1 that year, upbeat. Because wasn't there a three-way tie for 9? They all had 5-1, 5, or whatever it was, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, or they all beat each other, Permian, Lee, and I think it was Abilene High. But I could be wrong. I have to go back and look.
We'll find out and we'll check and we'll
I felt sorry for them because they had the best season they've had in a long time and get coin tossed out. That was memory.
It's just crazy. But you were saying WFAA, Dale Hansen.
Dale Hansen, every day I'd watch
Probably
that.
remember Dale Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
I was a big Texas Ranger fan, so I had to watch it every day.
I grew up watching that channel too. Every night.
Every night listening to Dale and wanting to hear, we talk about
He was great,
we
though. He
talk
was
about
awesome.
our idols.
He was great.
We
Yeah,
talk about
he was
Dallas
one of
Houston,
mine.
one of my idols completely because, and Vern Lundquist.
Oh,
being
yeah,
the other.
yeah.
Oh, man, yeah, Scott
but
Pelley.
Scott Pelley.
Vern Broncos went from WFA to the Dallas Cowboys then and started doing their games.
Oh, and he went to CBS.
Oh, you're right. After that,
So he
yeah.
A lot
went
of people
to-
from WFAA went
yeah.
on to Dateline
Oh,
2020.
yeah.
That's the number 4. What is it? Number 4 market in the nation.
Yeah.
Okay.
John
Oh, yeah.
Quinones.
Number 4. And we've had a young
I remember
lady
that.
from here, Erin Hunter, who went from KSAN all the way to WFAA.
Wow.
One jump.
Okay.
Wow.
And normally you have to
That's
jump
tough.
it, jump
Sure,
it,
sure,
jump
yeah, you
it.
work your
And
way up,
Erin's
yeah.
now, I think, Good Morning Texas or something like that. So, yeah.
You say we don't have WFA no more, but
Kudos
that's all
to
the
them.
darn stupid, SEC
yeah.
laws,
Yeah.
whatever.
Area
But-
he grew up in.
Absolutely, area we grew up in. Well, hey, we appreciate you joining us. And y'all guys got anything else you want to point out? Any other teams that we need to let our folks know? Water Valley's playing very best. Water Valley's got that one, I think, pretty handily. Robert Lee, I can't remember who they're playing.
I think they might be open this week.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
That may be right.
That district is kind of funny how they don't do open all at once. They kind of take turns.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, that's cool.
Odd team.
And Lakeview's on a bye this week, so you'll be able to catch Wall tomorrow night on Concho Sports Network. Speaking of Lakeview, before we forget, we'll announce this. The Lakeview game next week has moved to Thursday night
Yes.
due to some officials not being able to be put together there in the Permian Basin. So that game against Pecos has moved to Thursday night. You'll be able to catch it next week. You'll also be able to catch us. We'll be at home with
Midland.
But tomorrow night we've got Permian and we've got Wall and Kahoma.
That board permit?
Gonna go Ratliff Stadium. What do they say in the book? It rises, rises from the plains.
I read that. I read that novel.
Yeah.
I used to have it. I don't know where it's at now.
Oh, it's
but
great.
Oh,
I
yeah.
reread it.
Yeah. You know what? If I ever see one again, I'll pick it up because now I picked him up one too, and it happened to be an autograph copy.
Well, I remember it has that picture of the Permian, black and football players,
Mike
either going
Winfield.
away or towards you. I don't remember.
The 3 holding the captains.
Something like that.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great,
man.
great.
Rachel and was it the black gentleman that was the running back?
Chris
Booby
Comer
Miles?
took over for Booby when Booby.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Brian Chavez.
Oh, yeah. Child,
Rachel.
yeah. Yep.
And
I remember those names, yeah. Every now and then at Angelo State, you would get someone from Permian that would come through the kinesiology program or maybe even play for ASU. And because I remember they'd have Permian leather jackets and we'd talk to them, hey, Permian, they were very, very friendly, very talkative. And
get you one of these. It's great.
Yeah.
I love playing them. Being so awesome to be part of a win because years ago I went to Ratliff Stadium just to see it. First time I was ever in Odessa. I never thought I'd be doing a game that's played there. So it's awesome.
88 game is live in my memory, when Central beat them. Because I wasn't necessarily a Central fan. I didn't care. I was at ASU and I graduated from Lakeview, but I had friends at Central, so that's why we went to go see them, and a couple of them played football, a couple of them were in the band, whatever the case may be. But it was just an unbelievable experience. And you're right, it was like 23,000 people. There wasn't a place to.
20,000 Permian 2015, 20,000, more than 20,000 2016 for Allen. Those are the 2 records at San Angelo Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would start that mojo.
Sure. Oh, yes.
And it was just, I drove, when Brownwood played Permian for the first time, I drove from New Mexico, drove over, watched the game, and turned around and drove back home just so I could say I saw Brownwood and Permian play each other, and Permian just killed Brownwood.
But Brownwood did beat them in 98, 99. Brownwood did. They played like 2 years, and Kirby Freeman, Brownwood, they did beat Permian one time.
So, hey, you know what? Great show. We could talk football all night long. We could talk memories. This is how much you love it. If you don't know that we love football, all of us at Concho Sports and Paul, we're
missing the pro game now.
We're missing my team playing right now. The Steelers
4-1.
So, but they're playing the Bengals, and that's Coach Ray's team, and we don't want to say anything about the Bengals, but
They don't have Joe Burrow right now. That's what I'm
Ben Gals.
That's all you
as
need
we
to
used
say.
call them,
Yeah.
So
The Bungles.
the Bungles, yeah, you name it, we can call them that. But we appreciate you joining us tonight. Join us tomorrow night, Wall, Kahoma, Central, Permian. It's going to be 2 great games. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Paul's going to see another great game.
Ozona Sonora.
Ozona Sonora. Going to see, what's his name?
Christian Villarreal.
Villarreal. Going to run for 355 yards, hopefully,
Wow.
in this game. Let's hope.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want to
let's-
say
I
it.
don't meant to be a statistician at
Against the
at his games, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
23 for 319, second quarter.
But join us. We appreciate it. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Texans. My Texans are 6-0. Going up for homecoming this weekend. So
Texans. Oh, you're talking about?
I'm talking about,
Houston,
I'm talking
Texas.
about my love here, But please join us. We'll see you later. You've been watching the Concho Sports Insider. I'm Arlen Ponder. For all of them, I'll see you later.
Peace.